Well, I guess our seedling jujube is being killed by, I guess this is Ambrosia beetles. They throw that kind of frass and sawdust toothpicks out of the trunk. And I guess it dries them out. And then you get dead trees. So we probably need to cut it down, below where any insect, beetle, whatever these things are, has killed it, and then see if it comes back from the root system. It's possible because jujubes like to root sucker. It looks like our unknown cultivar, heirloom, whatever you want to say, of banana is throwing out a new pup. See? So we have been kind of losing our bananas, possibly too wet here, not really feeding it enough and taking care of it properly. So these guys had like 3/4 pound bananas on them a few years ago, 2017, I believe. I'm not sure exactly, but somewhere around there. Huge. I mean, they're not super long, but they're really fat, and like I said, they weigh about 3/4 to maybe up to a pound a piece. So eating one of these would fill you up. And we do not know the cultivar, so I ended up digging one of them up and giving them to somebody to try to preserve it and to find out, over time, what cultivar this is. I put another one in our banana mound, and I left this one here hoping that if mine failed, if the other person's failed, we would have some way to propagate them and try to take a little better care of them to see what we can do, So now we need to be full force into compost feeding it, and seeing if we can help make it propagate more. There's the top, so it's probably, 10 foot up there for the main mother plant. Wellington mulberry there. Looks like it's got little blooms coming out of it there. Now the kokuso, I think there might be a little tiny bit of green coming out of the buds there. Hopefully it'll do well. That we're rooting. These are both mulberries. I pulled one of the Illinois everbearing mulberry cuttings out, and most of it was dead, but there was like a 2-inch or so section of green on it, so I just put it back in. It's not hurting anything. I don't really, I guess, need the pots right now to try to root anything else in right now, so I hope that at least one of them takes. But I mean, depending on the source, sometimes you have better luck going like in July cuttings versus like the dormant cuttings and the late spring cuttings. But those over there, the Wellington and all, were most likely dormant and put in a freezer or refrigerator at the nursery. They probably put like 100, 200 cuttings of each cultivar in the refrigerator, and then they ship them out when somebody orders them. Are we going to be collecting any elderberries this season? There's quite a few on this seedling here. I think right now the prime focus on the elderberry stuff is just picking things, possibly picking new ones that are different, for propagation or to spread around the plant world or whatever. I read the description of one of the cultivars that says, it's a little more pest resistant because it hangs upside down. Look at there, these guys are hanging upside down. And it says, massive flower heads as large as 1 foot. And this is probably 11 inches or so round. There's probably a foot or 13-inch one right there, so probably a foot one right there. I definitely understand it when they use the description of up to 1 foot, because Our 2015 best elderberry had some 16 to 18 inches in 2015, but they probably also had some like this or smaller. This is probably like a 6-inch, 7-inch, probably about a 10, probably 9 or so there. And this is the same one, and there's probably like a 4-inch one there, and like a 5-inch one. And then, like I said, you got some that probably, 11 to 13 inches. There's a pretty nice one there. Let's see if I can even zoom in up there. Got sun glare, so I don't know if I caught it or not. So to say up to 1 foot or 12 inches, to me, it doesn't seem like it's a huge thing, because I got multiple crosses that get around that size. And 2015 best, I think this year the max hid so far, and they're still blooming. They're all over the place. The max size, I think, is about 14 inches this year. Look at the density on this. I'm not even seeing this on the screen. This guy's probably about 13, 14 inches around, wide. But look at all the density of the berries and stuff. And there's another one up there. There's a little smaller one, but the density of the berries is really nice. So looking at descriptions of stuff, other than the berry size not being as big as a couple, like York, and a few of them claim to be, and European, and some of the European hybrids, I think like March, I think supposed to be big. Seems so far like our 2015 select is, based on other descriptions, is pretty high up there in what people want. I just don't know about sweetness versus acidity, which one's a preference. And this guy, because it does fruit a little bit later, that could be a plus just for extending the season out. Looks very possible like there is a genetically different one kind of growing right beside where we did our 2015 best. So over there by that ladder is 2015 best. I'm just looking at the stem colors. These are staying pretty green. Doesn't look like a good pollination rate on it so far. But there are 2015 best root suckers coming out here and something else here. So I thought these were all the same, but this, just looking at it, I can tell that it's a different genetics. But I did plant York around here, I think Nova. So it could be one of them, or it could be a seedling of the 2015 best. So we'll look and see how big these few berries get, see if there's any difference in them. If they're the same size or smaller, then it's probably obviously not going to be the York that we are planted here somewhere. And if it was the York, we would have planted it over there, probably 10 to 15 foot away from it, and it would have to spread through root suckers to get over here. But you can see there's some there. There's nothing here. This is kind of where I mow. But like 8 or 10 foot from it, here's the first one. There's one over there. There's a little, several over there in that direction. There's several over here in this direction. I'm thinking for a while that this is probably a mayhaw that suckered up, but I'm thinking now this is possibly the rootstock of a medlar I had here a long time ago that just, that I just noticed growing, which would mean it's a hawthorn. I'm wondering if this is an English hawthorn, which is a good rootstock for, I guess, other hawthorns, medlars, pears, I think some apples, quince maybe. These are definitely mayhaws, and this is the leaf of the other hawthorn, a lot bigger. I mean, there are some slightly bigger mayhaws, similarly shaped. I don't know. I think when you look them up online, they're hard to kind of differentiate. this guy here. I guess they kind of have similar leaves. I found another pawpaw root sucker right there. Kind of right underneath this Meyer lemon. So there's a few root suckers. I guess it's kind of coming off all the way down here. It's like 10 foot from the original one. Just throwing them off every 4 feet or so. Not sure what I'm going to do about that one. I might just throw a graft on it or something next year and see what happens. If it'll probably, if it does well, grow right over top of the Meyer lemon or whatever. There are 2 butterflies. Obviously the dog was interested in seeing it. There we go. And interesting is I've had this sparkleberry for a long time. It has not, as far as I know, even bloomed at all. And I think the one in the container, which is probably just 2 or 3 years old, had blooms on it. I doubt it made any berries. But you never know, soil conditions and stuff. Just, sometimes like when I do citrus here, it just takes 6, 8 years, just of running roots and going into growth mode. Maybe the highly acidic soil just has maybe too much nitrogen in it and it just doesn't want to flower. It just wants to go into growth mode. And then, when it starts fruiting, it's like 2 fruit, then 10 fruit, then 30, 50, 100, 200 fruit. Each year kind of amplifying or whatever, amping it up, I guess. Now this guy trimmed up the citrus tree. Wow, it looks like it's perked up after trimming like so much of the top off. It's not like withering anymore. It's like the leaves are kind of flattening out. So obviously it wasn't 100% dead. Hopefully we get some good rain and it just keeps, getting nursed until it hopefully is back to 100% better.